Good evening and welcome to tonight's show from DJNTV, Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight's show is brought to you by Electra Voice, DJ Event Planner, DJ Trivia, Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and the DJNTV Insiders. Hey, good evening and welcome to DJNTV. Tonight is a big night. We've got a lot of stuff coming at you guys tonight. We're going to be talking business. We're going to be talking recaps. We're going to be talking looking forward and just so much. And we're going to start off right here with Mike Lenstra from the Disc Jockey News. Good evening, Mike.
Hey, John. How are we doing today?
Doing well. Doing very, very well. Mike, we should have had this show probably about 2 weeks ago, but things have just been totally chaotic since we came back. So tonight, let's kind of talk about your experience down at the DJ&TV show. You got to go and check out Photo Booth Expo for the first time. And there's a lot of folks out there who have not gotten a chance to check out either event, but let's kind of give them your perspective. What did you see? What did you think?
It was great. It was crazy. I went to get my pass, I think, probably 3 different times. And the line was, down the hall and around the corner type thing. And I kept going, okay, I'll come back a little bit later. And I go back and it was just as long, if not longer. It was, and I've probably been to maybe 20 to 25 of these shows, and I can never remember that long of a line to just to get the passes.
Yeah, and they had more than one aisle serving at the same time, or at the time. So it wasn't like it was just a single service. Tons of people. Now, have you ever been to Photo Booth Expo? I don't think you have.
This is my first time being with the Photo Booth Expo. Yeah.
So a lot of this is going out to some of our photo booth viewers out there. For those who have never been there before, what were you kind of expecting beforehand, and then let's kind of compare that and contrast that to what it was.
Okay. Again, I've never been to anything that related to the photo booth. I've been to a couple, DJ shows that have had some photo booth software and such in there. But I guess my first surprise again was just seeing the amount of people there for the photo booth. And I actually had a couple local vendors in my area here that actually were on the plane with me when we went out to Vegas. And
nice.
They went precisely for the photo booth. And of course, they were filling me in on just the different software programs, the different types of photo booths that they were coming across. And I guess not being really associated with that part of the business, I was kind of surprised to see just how much was out there for them.
So they were giving you the little details. You don't have a photo booth. You haven't done that before. After going down there and checking it out, is that something that has now come onto your radar, or is it something that at this point in time in your career it's not of interest?
I don't think so. I mean, I love what I do, and so I just think I want to stay with playing the music, with doing what I think I do best. I know in our area we have several different photo booth vendors. I recommend many of them. I think they do a great job. But as far as my own business, that's probably something that I'm not looking to entertain into adding into the business at all in the near future.
Sure. And when you have some people that you work with, that's to a point. Let them have the investment. Let them have the costs. Let them have that, and it makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense to go that way. Unfortunately, sometimes as small business people, we like, I can do that. I can bake brownies for the after party.
Yes.
All of a sudden it's like,
Exactly. Yes. But again, just like like any of the shows, just being able to network. To, I mean, of course, this was the first time that I've ever done a presentation at a show,
Yes.
and that was a completely different experience. And just being able to talk with people in the chill room afterwards and get some feedback and talk some different perspectives. I think that's where the real education comes in some of these shows. Not to say that, I mean, the seminars weren't, but there's if you're going to a show and you're just popping into the seminars and then heading back out to, I don't know, go to your room to go get lunch or something like that, you're really missing a lot of opportunities to learn just by talking with some of the other attendees there.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's we all talk about that, but even as someone who is putting a show together, and I was running crazy left and right and what have you, and I was in line to get coffee one morning, and there was another gentleman in the line who was talking, and he shared this little tip of something he does completely unrelated to the DJ or photo booth industry, but he was talking about something else, and he shared this idea, and it's like, that little idea of what he just said and how he said that could be put into the prospect of sales so incredibly well. And I basically went, and once he left, I took notes on my phone, wrote down what we talked about. In the hallway, in a coffee shop line of all places, you get a gem.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as we love our virtual things like we're doing tonight, you just can't get that, and you can't do those things unless you're at a show. So it's always one of those things that we talk about, and people are like, "Oh, you guys are just saying that." And then again, the person who's running crazy. I was back and forth so much, I don't even know where I was half the time, it seemed.
Sure.
And yet you still have that experience where you're like, "Oh, that one tip."
Well, I know I had a chance to talk with someone, and I got his card here somewhere, but we talked. I don't know how we got onto the subject of that transition time.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it was. It was, I mean, sometimes we've had those in our industry complain, well, it's after dinner and we're ready to kick off the party with some dancing, but the photographers steal the bride and groom and they take them outside. And I can really understand that. I mean,
yes.
A lot of times it's the golden hour. I mean, the sun is setting. That is the perfect time for the photographers to get those pictures. I don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But so as we talked about that, we kind of talked about, we call it that transition period. It's after dinner, but it's before we really kick into the dance. How do we keep the energy level up in the room? And this DJ was telling me that he does magic. He actually got into doing a little magic. And so he'll fill that time in with doing some magic tricks to entertain the guests, to keep them engaged while we're waiting for the bride and groom to come back, which I thought was a novel idea.
Yeah.
And then I shared with him a lot of times what I'll do was, well, I used to say, if there was a lot of children in the area, I would say, "Hey kids, I got the CD in the mail and it's all cartoon themes," but they didn't tell me what they came from. Well, now of course I have to tell them that I just got a download because kids today don't know what
we got a CD is, yeah.
But I'll tell them that. I'll tell them, I got this download of it's music from cartoons, but they didn't tell me what cartoon it came from. I tell you what, if I play a little bit, can you tell me? And of course, all the kids gather around and we'll play a little something from Frozen or Trolls or whatever's been most current here lately. And of course, the kids will jump in and it's kind of like a name that tune. Well, then we'll step back a little bit and we might play Scooby Doo or something from a an era gone by. Well, now we've got moms and dads kind of playing along too. Mm-hmm. And again, it's just kind of that filler time. But again, that's just something I picked up in a hallway.
Exactly. You probably
beneficial.
The concept of the doing that little TV theme show thing was something 20 some years ago, back before CDs were there.
Yes.
There's this guy in Minnesota who's running around in his jammies, Chopper.
Yeah.
That's
no,
what he did.
Just talked to Actually, he was part of my presentation. I talked to DJ Chopper before I came out to Vegas. Yes.
Yeah, and he was one of the first guys who was doing that. And when we saw that the first time, it's like, that's so simple, and yet so effective.
Yes.
Just an incredible thing. So, we've got folks joining in, jumping in. Some of you are going to find YouTube because they have depreciated their bandwidth and their video quality. I don't know if it's going to be in afterwards, if it's going to be bad, or if it's just going to be bad now for the next couple of days. But they took it down to where I think the best you're going to get is about a 480 signal. So I apologize if you can't see us that well. We're really not that pretty anyway, so it's not a big deal. Sorry, Mike.
I got a face for radio.
I know. I just got to say, you and I we're not the pretty ones in the crowd anymore. We might have been it one day, but not today. So anyway, if you're seeing it and it looks fuzzy, there's a lot of things that YouTube's trying to do to save bandwidth out there. So I apologize for video quality, and hopefully the audio is still in sync with us tonight. So at the show, we had all these different things going on. Did you get a chance to go and sit down and have lunch with anyone at the show, or maybe dinner, where you were able to really have a conversation more in depth?
Well, I have to say I really didn't, because my sister and brother-in-law live in Reno, Nevada.
Oh, nice.
And so when they found out I was coming to Vegas, they made the trip down and spent time with us. And so once we pretty well wrapped up the seminars and such like that, my sister had a whole little agenda for us to do throughout the evening hours and things. So I never really had a chance to sit down with anyone for dinner and such. But I have to say that there was a couple seminars that I found, really different and really refreshing. I really liked Mike Fernino's presentation, where he made that more of a Q&A.
Yeah, it was an idea.
Of course, Bill Herman helped them, and he would just throw out a question to the group, and then Bill would take the microphone throughout our guests and get their input, their thoughts, their intake on that. And I really, what the saying, I guess, is 2 heads are better than one. But then when you have a room of 50 to 75 of your colleagues throwing out ideas and thoughts, I just think that gives you, again, more information than you'll ever be able to use. I got some great ideas just in that seminar.
And I really love those types of seminars from and not that you can't do that all day long. It gets old after a while. But
sure,
when you have that little, because you'll have people who will come in there and they will share something, and because you're not in my market, I'm not in your market, and we're not in Woo Pig's market, we're going to share things that we probably wouldn't talk about if we were talking with our local DJs type of thing. And it's just a fabulous opportunity to learn from people from different parts of the country that do things similar but yet different. So that was a good experience. I was actually editing that video yesterday, and I was just going to see if it was scheduled to go live, but I don't think that one. No, it is live. It is over on the DJNTV Insider area.
Okay.
Yes, it is. I was going to say it's like I'm not seeing it here.
That is definitely one worth checking out. If anyone is tuning in that was not out in Vegas with us, that is definitely one worth checking out.
You can go to DJNTVtraining.com, and it's one of the videos up at the top there, because we just started releasing day 2, and Mike was kickoff for day 2. And if right now, I'm going to take 30 seconds. We have actually, our DJNTV insiders have decided to open up the membership area for the next couple of months, so everyone can participate and be part of that educational training video, those videos that were only for members. They're all going to be free, available to you. The availability will be there, and it will be free. There we go. But you need to go out to djntv.com/help. That's the special link. That will take you to the spot where you can register, and you'll have access to all the videos on our djntvtraining.com website. So the link, djntv.com/help. Go there. You'll see Mike's video. You'll see all the videos that are from day 1. You'll see video. We have 125 videos that are members only videos, and you guys will have access for the next 2 months on all of those. Okay, so Mike Freno definitely was a highlight for you. What other seminars really stood out?
Well, of course, I helped Ron with his creativity, and I just find Ron to be so super creative. I love catching his videos that he's running right now on how to speak wow to your customers, and I just think that, as always, Ron is just from a different planet, maybe. His creativity is just a bit beyond most anyone else that I know. And then, of course, Dave Tournier had a seminar on word of mouth referrals, which I found really well. I believe I caught part of that seminar, maybe somewhere else. Maybe it was
Midwest
on a video or something, but that was, again, if you're watching the videos or if you're going to a seminar, take a pen and a notepad with you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sometimes surprised. I'm always there just jotting notes down. I have notes that I come across from some of the shows that we were at 5 years ago, and I review them, and I'm like, I can really tell you, John, that when I decided to do this as a full-time gig,
Mm-hmm.
I told myself one of the things I wanted to do was get to at least one thing educational every year.
Right.
And I've probably exceeded that somewhat, but I cannot say that I've gone to a show yet that I've left and went, well, that was a waste of time. Well,
Sure.
that was a waste of money.
Mm-hmm.
I've come back with something useful every one I've went to. It sometimes shocks me when I see some of our attendees there just kind of crossing their arms and kind of listening, but I'm like, get your pen and your paper out.
Mm-hmm.
Take these notes. I mean, there's just going to be so much that's going to be useful to you in the years to come.
Some of the greatest things that I have taken from a convention wasn't what was being talked about on stage. It was something that they said that inspired something else and a different thought in me. And it's like, oh my gosh. And all of a sudden something clicked. And this whole process or this whole idea came through. You're busy jotting the notes down. Lori was with me one of the years, and I'm just all of a sudden feverishly writing things down, and she's looking at me like, what he said kind of sucked. I mean, I believe she used that kind of language. That wasn't very good. It kind of sucked. And it's like, no, he said something that triggered something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I've got this idea, this inspiration for putting together, it was actually a routine at the time. And the routine was, for a number of years, that routine was one of our most popular routines we did. It wasn't part of the seminar, but it was something inspired by being there and hearing whatever that word was, and I couldn't tell you what it was. I just remember, yeah, here I am.
And of course, what I find too when I'm there is I also get so many ideas for my monthly column for the disc jockey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's an idea, there's the thought, and I actually took some of that and started putting things together for next month's column. Just after, my presentation, having some conversations with some people, and I'm like, okay, let's do that. Let me run with this for a while. Yes.
Yeah, because you get to hear so many stories and talk to so many different people, and everyone has their own little takes and needs and what have you. So yeah, it's a great resource for that.
Mm-hmm. Part of my presentation, I just want to throw this in there.
Yeah.
Part of my presentation, I talked about Smokey Yunick, and pretty well no one there knew who Smokey Yunick was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was a mechanic in the early days of NASCAR stock car racing. And when I came across him years later, he by now had retired, and he was a monthly columnist for a stock car racing magazine.
Sure.
And that was one of the things I was into, and I like to call it my life BMC. That's before marriage and children. But in 1 month, somebody wrote in to Smokey. They said, dear Smokey, how can I get my car to go faster?
Mm-hmm.
Which was a pretty generic question. So he gave him a generic answer. He said, well, it really depends on how much money you want to spend. Typically, the more money you spend, the faster you'll go. But then he told the reader something that I find to be so true. He said, it really depends on where you want to finish. He told the guy. He said, if you're okay with finishing in the back, talk to the people that finish back there. If you're content finishing in the middle of the pack, well then, talk to the people that seem to finish there. But if you really want to finish at the front of the pack, then those that consistently finish there are the people that you should be talking to.
Sure.
And I found that, that doesn't just apply to racing.
Oh yeah, what a great thought.
And I think of that all the time. In many things I do in life. And I think that's why it's so important to get to these conferences, to go talk to the other colleagues in your field, whether that be the photo booth or the DJs. To really seek out those that are at the top of the ladder.
Yeah. And
learn from them and how they got there. And that's why I think these things are so valuable.
Yeah. I definitely think so, because that's where we have met many of our friends within the industry, and some who are at the front of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some people that are in the middle of the pack, and some people who are in the back of the pack. There's a variety of people there.
Well, I think, and I said this there too, I think the people that are like in the middle of the back of the pack, they're thinking they can get all the training they need on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that's all social media is bad. There's some great sites out there. I mean, I brought a couple of those up in my presentation, but those that just want to, just kind of just hang out on social media and think that that's going to take them to the top of the ladder, I think they're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I think it's it's one of the pieces, but it's not all of the pieces.
Yes,
that's for sure. So you say you were talking, of course, that you'd like to get to a couple of shows a year. So you've been to a lot of different shows. Of the different shows that you have been to, what are a couple of personal favorites that you just really enjoy going to that you've been to in the past?
Okay. The Midwest DJs live show. I've attended that the last 5 years. May not be able to attend that this year because they've moved it back to August.
Yeah.
We'll see how the schedule works out with, I mean, I've had so many, again, the April, May weddings that are now moving later on in the year, such a thing like that. May not get that one, but I've always enjoyed that one. A couple of mobile beat shows that I've enjoyed. And, one I really enjoyed that we don't do anymore was the Disc Jockey News Conclave that we used to do, of course, there in the Minneapolis area, or was it Mystic Casino?
Yeah, we were out at Mystic Lake, and we've been around town a little bit. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, and again, I almost prefer maybe a little bit of that smaller show, that Midwest DJs Live, those DJ News Conclaves, just because it seems like there's not as much hustle and bustle going on. I mean, some of the mobile beat shows I've been to, I mean, do you want to go to catch this seminar in room A and B, or do you want to catch it in this suite? I mean,
there's things.
It's almost, it could be a little bit of information overload there. Quickly. But I mean, those other shows have afforded us the opportunity to, again, go to dinner afterwards and then just meet other people, talk over other ideas. I mean, I just think that's where you get a lot of your information, a lot of your feedback on, am I on the right track, or here's something I should be looking at. I mean, what's new in the business that I've got to keep up on.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun with those shows up here in Minneapolis over the years, and a lot of great memories. I mean, I don't know if I've ever been to another show where our evening meal was up in a suite with was it Jimmy John's subs and imported beer. That's what they brought. So
I remember the one year you tried to do we were all up, I think, one of the suites, and you tried to do a live show from there. Well, trying to do a live show with a bunch of DJs that have been drinking for a while, probably not a good idea.
Yeah, that's where we learned the whole concept of mic pickup patterns. We've had some fun with those. So, hey, Mike, we got to wrap things up. Thank you much for being on tonight. Appreciate that. It was a good time out in Vegas, and great to see you there. And looking forward to doing more things like that here in the future.
Well, I'm hoping to get back next year.
Yeah, it should be good. We're looking forward to that. So, hey, gang, we'll be back. Matt Campbell's up with me here in about 5 minutes, and we're going to be talking about places and resources to find wedding music and to keep you up to date on all those new songs that are hitting and trending. So we'll be back in 5. Mike, thanks again for being with me tonight.
Thanks for having me, John.